start by stating your name and kind of introducing your company? That'd be great.
Yeah, my name is Angelo Crino. I'm the founder of Crino Cuts LLC. I'm a knife sharpening and tool repair business. I'm currently a junior, majoring in entrepreneurship and innovation at West Virginia University, and this is my company.
All right, so what is a little bit of like kind of your inspiration and how you started this company?
Yeah, so I got started uh, because of my woodworking business, actually. When I started woodworking, I used hand tools, which you have to sharpen a lot and you need to make sure that they're well maintained regularly. And I hated doing it. It was a chore for me and I sucked at it. And so I decided I'm gonna become good enough that I enjoy the process. And so it was something that I practiced a lot and I did get good at it. And other people started asking me, hey, can you do my kitchen knives? And I said, well, I haven't done it before, but I'll give it a shot. I bet I can learn how to do it. And people started bringing me a lot of kitchen knives, and that's when I knew I could make a business out of it.
Awesome. So what's the like brief history of your company or how has it evolved since you started it?
Yeah, I started off with woodworking tools and kitchen knives, which is a good customer base because a lot of people, basically everyone has kitchen knives. Everyone needs them sharpened from time to time. And the woodworking community in my hometown is pretty strong. And so that was a good returning customer base. But over time, a new market segment that I've dived into is barber shears for barbershops. They are really good because that's their job is to use those tools very frequently. And most barbers have several pairs. So once I got good at that, I got a lot of returning customers. Um, as their work depends on the sharpness of their shears.
Awesome. So how do you like find these customers or how do you advertise?
Yeah, a lot of it is word of mouth. I go to these businesses in person. I also do farmers markets to kind of appeal to the average residential user. And both are pretty equal in importance to me. Residential users are more frequent as everyone has knives and a lot of people need them sharpened. So that's a very consistent customer base for me. But I also like to appeal to businesses because they often uh, have that higher demand and they need they need more structure. Uh, so they'll return every 2 weeks or so with a request for sharpening.
Awesome. So now I'd like to move a little bit away from the company foundation, a little bit more into the personal creativity and innovation. So my question for you is, how do you personally approach creative problem solving as a leader?
Yeah, I find that the best way that I go about problem solving is to just think about the problem a lot, right? So because it is my business and it's my problem, my issue, I think about it a lot. I think about it continuously throughout the day. And I think that's really important to finding creative solutions to these problems. Because if I dedicated a small segment of my day to, okay, this is how I'm going to solve this issue, I don't know if I would get a whole lot done. But because I am just daydreaming about, man, how can I solve this issue in advertising, or how can I make customers come back more frequently? Because I'm thinking about it a lot, that opens up the door for creative solutions to come at any point of the day. If I'm in the shower making food, wherever, you never know where a good idea might come from.
Awesome. So do you have any habits or routines that help you stay innovative or help you generate new ideas?
Yeah, I think the consistent reminding myself of the problem is good. A habit that I like is just sitting down without any distractions and just thinking, right?
Mhm.
So maybe after all my assignments are done and all my chores are done for the day, I just like to sit down and just think, no distractions, uh, no phone, kind of just really bringing out my creativity
Mhm.
because my brain was focused on other things throughout the day, but now I can be completely centered on task at hand.
Awesome. So, do you have a specific time, or can you describe a time when you were when thinking outside of the box helped you overcome a major challenge? You can
Yeah,
take your time.
yeah, I had an issue of how I was going to decrease my turnaround rate. So,
Mhm.
how was I going to decrease the time that someone gives me their tools and I return it back to them? And the traditional way of doing this, that most sharpening businesses go about doing this, is that you give them your tools and then they'll return it at a specified date, usually 2 or 3 days later. But that's 2 or 3 days that you don't have your tools. And I wanted to make myself the easy choice. I wanted to say, if I could decrease this time to a couple hours, if I can return your tools back to you in a couple hours, that makes myself the easy choice, right? Like that's a pretty obvious choice for the consumer. So I decided that I was going to do everything same day, to promise a same day turnaround. That as soon as I receive what people need sharpened, I do it as soon as it's given to me. And I find that this model works especially well with businesses because their money making relies on their ability to use the tools. And so the faster I can have their tools back to them, the more they can make money. Farmers markets are also a great opportunity for this because people drop off their stuff when they first see me. They do a little walk around the market, and by the time they get back, it's usually done.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. Do you have any current employees, or is it just you?
It's just me right now.
Got it. So, in the future, if you were to expand your company, how would you, as the owner and founder of your company, encourage employees to develop new ideas? How would you take that role as a leader?
Yeah, I would encourage failure, right? Like the founder
Mhm.
of IBM says that
Yeah.
the faster you fail is the faster you succeed. I found a lot that when I prove myself wrong, it's hard to accept that reality. And sometimes
Mhm.
there's a bit of a sunk cost fallacy because I just want to keep going in the way that I traditionally thought how businesses should work or how I best operated my business. But recognizing that you can do the right thing and still be wrong
Mhm.
and being able to pivot from that has really helped me grow. So that's what I would encourage to any business partners or employees that recognize when you're doing something wrong and don't be afraid to admit that you've been going the wrong direction for a while.
Okay, how do you decide which ideas are willing enough to pursue and which ones to set aside?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's something that all business owners are struggle with.
Mhm.
Well, the philosophy that I like to pursue is that because I am young and I'm not currently reliant on the profits of my
Mhm.
business, I pursue every idea I have. If I think there's even a just a 1% chance that it could be viable, I like to pursue it, and that's assuming that the costs and the risks aren't too big. Um, I just like to pursue it because I just like to try new things. I'm in a
Mhm.
stage where I have that ability to to get outside my comfort zone and to um, risk the business for growth because I have uh, no dependency on anything right now.
Mhm. Awesome. That probably helps your creative process a little bit too. You get a little bit more freedom.
It does, yeah, yeah. I feel like the walls are down in a way because if I was reliant on my business for profit, I would be much more adverse to change than I am now.
Got it. All right. And the last question I have for you is you mentioned a lot about your customers. So how do you integrate customer feedback into your product development?
Yeah, customer feedback is everything.
Mhm.
Even if you think it's irrational, even if you think it's crazy, even if you just want to argue back with them and say, no, it's this way, you're wrong. Customer feedback is everything because that's their genuine experience, right?
Mhm.
Especially critical feedback. Praise sometimes can be a little like, oh, like okay, like that's nice, but is that genuinely how you feel?
Mhm.
Are you just being nice, So when I get critical feedback, I can tell that someone genuinely has an issue with something that I'm doing or the way that I'm operating. So I take that to heart. And whether I think that the issue that they brought up could be applied to other customers or that was a specific problem they had, then that's something I need to address separately. But generally, I take all feedback quite seriously.
Awesome. And then I just came up with one last question.
Mhm.
I'm grateful enough that you're actually in the same class that I am in for this project. So, is there anything that we've learned throughout the semester that has really kind of developed you as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, early on in the semester, we talked about the idea of choosing to be creative.
Mhm.
And I just really that idea kind of resonated with me because I think our thought process is a choice most of the time. And the idea that we can choose to be creative kind of it gives you agency and it doesn't just make everything up to fate. And I really like that idea. It gives you more responsibility over your ideas.
Awesome. Well, Angelo, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me today. I've learned a lot about your company and your business, and I really appreciate all the feedback you've given me.
Yeah, of course. It was a pleasure. Thank you.